When mother trees are dying, they send a message of wisdom on to the next generation of seedlings. She sends these messages through a vast internet, like fungal network in the soil to her neighboring seedlings. This increases the resistance of these seedlings to future stresses, which in essence means that trees talk to each other. Like trees, humans have evolved into a network of interdependence that spans the rocks, the plants, the animals, and the air that we breathe. Many have forgotten or are unaware of how or that the ability exists to communicate on the subtlest level to the living and non-living entities that have surrounded us for thousands of years. If we take the knowledge of basic physics to point, we can clearly see that there is no real difference between a person, the food that they eat, and their environment, particularly if going to the indivisible fundamental particle level, which is essentially nothing. Great sages were said to come out of deep meditation states with the realization that all we are is a thought. Consciousness or awareness is not in the clouds or in some designated point of space. It is right behind the darkness that you perceive with your closed eyes. Indigenous cultures cannot separate their bodies and health from the environment around them. Every ritual, dance, prayer, and song is done to connect with this underlying fundamental energy force with the universe that can be heard, felt, and seen when in the state of mind that transcends the physicality of the body. This adaptation and awareness of the smallest particle level of existence is profound, as by definition, if a fundamental particle cannot be broken down any further, it means there is nothing physical about it in the first place. Our lives may only appear to exist, engendered as holographic images on a two-dimensional field that tricks our sense of physicality into a realm that brings more mystery than answers. Ask any trailblazing research physicist. You cannot understand true medicine power in whatever capacity that may be, unless you have an understanding of the nature of things. To understand the nature of things, you need to be in nature. And you need to connect to the animals, the rocks, the plants, the stars, and the winds. Land as medicine is not necessarily a physical description of our ability to use plants or animals by taking them into our hands, but to understand them like our ancestors did, as part of complex phenomena that we have the ability to affect or be affected by. For example, to burn a plant is said to release its soul, and each plant has a unique soul or imprint on our bodies, whether we breathe it, ingest it, or apply it, sending the body very specific messages, whether biochemical in nature or otherwise. To talk with animals or observe them like our ancestors did, and elders still do today, to this day, allows an understanding of the skills and gifts that they have to teach us about ourselves and about the world. To heat certain rocks increases its internal magnetism, which interacts with special receptors in our bodies that allows grounding and a reorganization of mineral-rich tissues, such as done in many ceremonial practices today, including sweat lodge and a number of other ceremonies. By connecting back to these natural elements, our reality becomes one of peace, understanding, and purpose. We come to know an ancestral safe haven, regardless of the endless ups and downs that pertain to our life. Even these cancer cells come from cells that deregulate themselves, recapitulating successfully earlier ancestral lifestyles. So if a cancer cell is trying to go back to a primordial ancestral state, maybe it's trying to teach us something. If the body has a purpose in health, wouldn't it also have a purpose in disease? Herophilus stated, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself, art cannot manifest, strength cannot fight, wealth becomes useless, and intelligence cannot be applied. Chief Dan George said, "Allow me to learn the ways of your book knowledge so that I may combine it with my natural knowledge and lead the way. A blend of traditional knowledge with modern knowledge is the only way forward sustainably for our people, particularly in the North." When people have a true understanding of self and the universe, they become one and the same, and through this they achieve peace. This peace can translate to meaning, focus, purpose, and the ability to use this short physical life as a hologram to allow others to achieve the same. Without access to the land for the purpose of reestablishing our interconnectedness, we constantly feel like we have something left unfulfilled, but don't necessarily know what. Pretending to be a rabbit when you're not only leads you down the wrong trail. By deciding to work towards an understanding of that vibrational force, which is the universe, we will make a decision to live more than we have ever done before. This is not esoteric. It's science at its purest and rawest form. Or as my wise sister says, we are not New Age, we are native. Remember that land is medicine, as a medicine place, provides a space where we can play out our drums to remind us of this vibrational force that creates all living beings, and that the whole world really is inside of us as it is outside. Asito.